Libra.
Hello, Libra. This is your 2017 forecast for the entire year. Now, I would have loved to do this on camera, but I am upgrading my camera systems and not too happy with that old one. But we're looking at now what you can expect. And I'm typically always loving to follow Mars when we're looking at a full year's forecast. Why? Because Mars shows our goals. It shows where our physical drive, energy, dedication shows up. And it takes Mars 2 years to go around the chart once. And here this year, Mars is not retrograding. It's going to zoom by 8.5 houses of your chart. And we're going to take them from top of the year straight through the end of the year. And we're going to outline exactly what Mars is going to do for you and where you can come to expect to see your goals being fulfilled. Get your pen and notepad out because we're also going to be outlining all the retrogrades of 2017, where they show up, what you can expect. And so let's get started now here, January 1st. Mars and Neptune, they are conjuncting, and Mars being that dynamic focus, right? And Neptune, your hopes and dreams. And since it's in a conjunction, it has the power to last straight throughout the year, even way beyond Mars having left Neptune. But it's the imprint, it's the fusion, it's like a vitamin shot, right? Where Mars is picking up this Neptunian hopes and dreams and whatnot. So come New Year's Eve, normally, yes, we always do put our intentions out for the year. That's what New Year is all about. But this year is special because of this aspect. And so what I would say, dream big, guys. All right, Libra? Just make sure that your goals and your hopes for the year are realistic, because Neptune can spin some illusions upon us too. But if they are within, reach, but where it's going to take a little effort to obtain those goals, Mars will follow you straight through and be your best support. Now, from New Year's Eve to January 29th, Mars is in the sign of Pisces in your 6th house. And this is the first step of the journey. Mars looking at your health. So January is all going to be focusing on how you can improve your health. Maybe start out with some new workout program, but it's also you organizing your day-to-day routine so that you can become more efficient in the way that you work, not just for January, not just for 2017, but until Mars gets back here 2 years from now. So anything that you clear out, prune back, right? And that will allow Mars to move forward in such a great way. Then we have from January 29th to March 11th, Mars will be moving into your relationship area. And so here, Libra, this is the best time for you to focus on your partner. If you're in a relationship, expect it to really take on shape and form, become very dynamic, a lot of interaction. If you're single, well, this will be a great time for you to go out and perhaps meet a new partner. On March 11th through April 22nd, Mars will be now looking at how you're intimately sharing with this particular partner, okay? The 8th house is the house of Scorpio, so we go very deep. It's very intense. It's passionate. It also allows us to look at how we're sharing our resources, either together in this relationship, but also with any other partners that you might be partnering with. That could be within work. It rules the area of commissions and royalties, investment payouts, tax refunds, all those kind of things, inheritances. And so in this period here, early spring, Mars is going to make sure you're going to get what you deserve to get. You might have to work for it, but Mars is giving you that energy to go for it. Then from April 22nd to June 5th, Mars now in your 9th house. Okay, so this is the time where you really want to focus on achieving either higher education, taking a course, or a class. If you're looking to publish, well, this area rules publishers. It rules immigrations, visas, green cards, higher understanding, spirituality too, anything of philosophical nature, and long distance travel. Let's also just add that this is a great time for you here, Libra, to do your research. And research what? Well, anything that you are attracted to, of course, but it's also a time to do preparational steps for what is now to come in the aftermath, and that is when Mars moves into your 10th house of career. This takes place June 5th through July 21st. Mars in Cancer in your career house is now giving you the full stage of attention, which it does, for a few weeks every other year, 2 years to next time. So now focus on how to move ahead, how to climb the ladder. This is a great time to speak with your supervisors, being called in to review, maybe get a promotion. Put yourself out there, all right? Because if you're holding back and they're not really knowing what your vision is, how will they know, right? So dare to be expressive. And you have a few weeks from July 21st here or until July 21st, should I say, to make this work for you. And the thing is, when we speak about Mars being in a certain sector for a certain time, well, yes, that is because we have all the extra energy and attention and support from that Mars. But this is also why we can explain that, say, at other times in your life, you might be working so hard trying to use your Mars and you're treading water getting nowhere because Mars isn't right there at what it is you're doing, right? So here when you have all this career opportunities that is showing up and Mars is with you, well, that is when we can achieve. If you do it at any other time of the year, you can exhaust yourself and not much will come from it because Mars is operating in other areas of your chart. So be aware of it. Now we have it shifting into your 11th house of hopes and dreams and groups and organizations, friendships. You might attract a whole lot more new people coming in. This will be from July 21st to September 9th. All right. Now, when I say you can attract new people into your life, it's because Mars is working like a magnet. And in that, they will be Marsy. They will be feisty, right? And it's energizing to you. It's in the sign of Leo. So it's warm, it's playful, it's heartfelt. So great time for you here this summer to be social. And speaking of social, the 11th house also rules social networks. Then from September 9th through October 23rd, Mars will take a little break. It needs that. It's been 2 years since it was able to pull back and just go to the spa and refill, recharge, upload, reload those batteries so it's fit to fight for a new 2-year cycle. And of course, even Mars needs to refuel, right? When it is in the 12th house, it is a very intuitive, it's a spiritual house. It's time to meditate and contemplate, working behind the scenes, because this is the hidden aspect of our chart. You might dream up new goals and whatnot that you're wanting to impose upon your next 2 years. And this might be hidden from the world. It will come out to the forefront when you're ready to present what it is you've been cooking up when it gets into your first house. That is when Mars moves into your sign, Libra, and we have that October 23rd, and it will last straight through December 10th. At this time, you are so ready, fit to fight. You are up and running and going and sharing to the world whatever it is you've been doing over the last 4 to 5 weeks when Mars was in that 12th house, when you pulled back a little bit, and they'll see that you definitely weren't sleeping. You were just contemplating. Sometimes we need to make our plans in a quiet way, not to share it, to get too many inputs from other people who might either, yes, yay you, but they could also nay you. And if they nay you, that's stealing your energy, right? So we have that need to just pull back a little bit and then come out again to play. Mars in that first house being all about you, your needs, what it is you want. It's opposing the seventh house of relationships. So you might just find that this would be a time to really look at where you're at in your relationship and whether, there is a good balance. If not, well, then you will make sure that balance will be recreated. After all, you are the sign of Libra and the scales, right? So from December 10th throughout the rest of the year, Mars will be moving into the last area of your chart for 2017. That is your financial area. Now, this allows you to look at your income. Are you making enough? Are you wanting to change things up? This is the time to do it. Your mind, your consciousness, your focus right now will be on the balances that you have in your account. Mars can attract new money coming in, but also it's a time where you might be spending a little bit more money than usual. And of course, since it is this time of the year, well, we are there at holiday season. So of course, naturally, there will be more expenses too. But let's now take a look at the retrogrades of 2017. And they're all retrograde with the exception of Mars. Mars is not retrograding this year. And so that means that that's putting us in our drive, our goals, our achievements onto that super highway. There's going to be no delays, no slowdown. So it's just going to get us up and running. We're going to be chasing here in 2017. But listen, the first retrograde of the year is April 10th through May 4th. That will occur here at 4 degrees in the sign of Taurus, and it will move into the sign of Aries before it turns around again, allowing more time to be spent here looking at mutual values and how we're sharing our intimacy, how we're sharing our resources. We'll be looking at our relationships, fine-tuning and retweaking our relationship. Now, let me just mention, too, though, as we start off on top of the year, I should have mentioned that we're already in a Mercury retrograde. That started in 2016. They're December 19th through January 8th. Okay, so we're already starting the year on it. But then the first one of 2017 that is starting up, that is that April 10th to May 4th, relationship-oriented, money investment type of retrograde. That brings us to the second Mercury retrograde of the year, which is August 13th through September 5th. This will occur at 11 degrees in Virgo, which for you, Libra, is in your 12th house. This is going to allow you to have a little bit more extended time to work out those things that you're wanting to change, tweak, redo, anything that has to do with your spiritual self or finding more time, more me time to kind of pull back from the world. So in that sense, use these weeks wisely just so that you can catch up all the elements and get all those fragments put into a nice and tight little pack so you're ready to go when Mercury is then going to cross your ascendants and into your first house. December 3rd to the 23rd, it's holiday season. Mercury will retrograde in Sagittarius in your third house for communication and short distance travel. So here we can expect a little bit of delays taking place, but it will also give you some extended time to look at those projects you're working on, especially the ones that are of verbal nature. Say, if you're working on giving a presentation, a speech, that kind of thing. If you're working on a manuscript or an article, well, it can be a little frustrating because since Mercury rules communication and it's in the communication house being retrograde, well, then whatever setbacks, hiccups, you can even come to see computer problems because that is also a tool that we use for communicating, might be a little stressful. Now, since it is right up towards those holiday seasons and present shopping, I would recommend all of you to go out, get your present shopping done in November so you don't come across any funky half-working objects which could be presented here under this retrograde. We're moving right along to Venus. Venus rules love, beauty, and money. So, if we're talking about beauty, listen, guys, especially you, this is your ruler, right? You don't want to have any kind of plastic surgery or anything done of that nature. No lip fillers, nothing of, say, tattoos. It will just come out very, very funky. So we always want Venus to be on the good end when we do anything that has to do with our appearance. Even wardrobe shopping or getting a haircut or styled, I would say before March 4th and April 15th, I would just stay away from it altogether. So it brings us to Mars, and like I said, there's no retrogrades of Mars this year, so he's just going to be happy-go-lucky, forging forward. But the next one will be Jupiter. Let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter will be retrograding in your first house, which has to do with you and your personality, personal growth. Jupiter has been expanding here all this last year for you. And now that it's retrograding, it's giving you a little extended time in your sign and in this area for you to do its work and its wonders, all right? So things might slow down a little bit, but Jupiter is a great planet to have retrograde because it's still going to be generous with us. You might just come to see that situations of the past, hopes or thoughts, maybe projects or opportunities of the past that you at a certain time just walked right by and didn't pick up might come back around and be offered to you now as like a second chance. So pay attention to those. Those can be little gems that can really come to grow for the rest of the year. Jupiter will be moving forward again June 10th. Now, Saturn, which is in your third house, which has to do with, of course, your siblings, your closer community, and anything of written nature, whether it's lawsuits or publications or whatnot, transportation, vehicles, and short distance trips. Well, when Saturn goes retrograde, it can bring up karmic issues in this area. So the slowdown, it could be a breakdown of your vehicle. Maybe you need to have a new part. Maybe you got to change your engine, your brakes, that kind of thing, because you're feeling that you're being held back, and it is for a reason. And so after August 26th, this could be a time where you can start feeling that energy is going to be lifting and rising in this specific area for you. Uranus, which rules change, and there has been changes and liberations and things being shifted in your area of relationships. Well, it's going to be until August 3rd, you're going to come to see that there's leaps and bounds, unexpected situations taking place. There could be new relationships formed, others just suddenly let go of. We never know with Uranus. Sometimes when a relationship starts out of the blue, and maybe with a person you would never in the past have been attracted to, and suddenly you now find extremely attractive, well, that can be hot and heavy for a little bit, and then suddenly it will turn cold and be over and done with just as quickly as it came into the picture. We see that oftentimes with Uranian relationships, that we're attracted to somebody way out of our age range or from a totally different background, but that is also part of the attraction initially. When it goes retrograde August 3rd straight throughout the rest of the year, well, then you'll see that these unexpected oh my gods will slow down as well. Neptune ruling our higher idealistic self. It's the higher octave of Venus, which is love, so it is romantic, also very artistic. Neptune in your sixth house has to do with your health, health issues, how you could protect it, grow it, strengthen it, get on a diet or start working out, a program. It could also just be you expressing your creative self in some of these fields. Well, Neptune will go retrograde June 16th to November 23rd. So at this time, since it also rules your day-to-day schedules and work, and you might feel when Neptune isn't really functioning at its highest, well, then things get a little messy. We can see that our desk starts flowing over with papers and whatnot. Other places and parts of the house may also flow a little bit more than normal. So we always need to have a good, strong Neptune to keep organized. That's the sixth house keyword. Pluto, planet of transformation and regeneration. And this is your fourth house of family, your parents, your roots, your ground, your foundation. So over these last few years, within the home and family, somewhere, something has been under transformation. Now, this will be active until April 4th, Libra, and then it will retrograde until September 9th, 29th, I'm sorry. And so then things will slow down and you'll be able to catch up. But until April 4th, you can see there's a lot of dynamics taking place somewhere within the family hierarchy. So let me just mention too that we have Saturn, which will be changing signs here in 2017, which is in your